What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 39 of Feel the Heat. I am surprised I'm not half asleep right now, given the fact that I didn't sleep well last night. And now the Heat play at 9 p.m. and are going to kill me slowly. But we're back after a week off, a week and a half. No, a week, right?
Yeah.
About a
we
week.
recorded 2 weeks ago, but
okay. So then, yeah, sure. The fact of the matter is that it's a new year. Happy 2022. I've never been happier to let go of a year. Before we get into this, I need to hear like one resolution, goal, intention, something for this new year.
I was going to say record less podcasts with you. Let me think of something else. For those of you on the audio platform, the eye roll from Allana was incredibly deep. I'm talking Marianas Trench deep. Actual resolution. You want to know something? I don't actually make any.
Oh God, you're that person.
I'm not that person. I don't have an issue with people that make resolutions. I just know for myself, resolutions become a really easy, like, I'm going to try to do, like, it becomes easy to, in December and November, be like, I want to change this about myself, and then put it off until January and put it off, right? Because it's
I'm not that person.
Right, you're not.
The day it's
Sure.
like it's midnight, we're doing it. And I feel like I want a better word for resolution, because I feel like resolution doesn't hit hard enough that like it's getting done. Like that's why I don't like really goal or intention. Like I'm doing this shit. It's not like I'm gonna try. It's like this is happening.
Yeah, I think for me it's more like I have things that I want to do in 2022, right? Like there are
like a bucket list.
Yeah, there are jobs that I want to pursue. There are places that I want to go to. There are things I'd like to improve about myself, but I try not to think about them in January, because for me, it always becomes a really easy, like, I have the whole year to do it.
Okay, so you like put them off.
Right. So I just like to be like, these are my goals. I've had them for a while. Let me just keep chasing them. So
okay, that's fair enough.
I don't have anything specific. You seem like you do. I'm sure, like the energy of the new year with like the moon.
Oh,
The moon was at
I'm thriving. Listen, let's just walk through
the
this.
Sagittariuses are
no Capricorn, but listen, we got a new year after the worst year of my life, which I thought would be 2020, but no, think again. Then we got a new month, a new week. I got off winter break for work, and then there was a new moon in Capricorn. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I think the overall goal is to just be unbothered, because I used to be a very unbothered bitch, and then people got in my way and I became bothered, but we're back to being unbothered. I have like very specific things, but we will leave that to other platforms. But yeah, just chill this year, basically.
Okay. New moon in Capricorn sounds like a Twilight spinoff, but yeah, I'm happy for you.
Never seen that, never read it. Don't even really know the characters.
I guess you're too old for Twilight, actually. That probably
I also sense. Just that crap doesn't interest me.
I mean, you're also just, it's the age. It's the age, really.
No, I just don't, not interested. Vampires, is that what it is?
I mean, you're probably more into what, like 1984,
reality,
you know?
Reality.
Like, didn't 1984 come out?
Like things that actually happened on Earth. Yeah.
Vampires are real.
Yeah, for sure.
They're called bats.
Okay, we have really gone off the deep end.
Sorry, just to quote Ricky, this is a Heat podcast. Let's go from here.
I feel like I said that in a tweet, actually, and Ricky took that from me. Usually I give Ricky his flowers, but that was a tweet that I crafted. So I know Ricky's now our social media. Okay, face of social media for the network. But
I think we found the clip he's using this week.
Anyway, I don't even know where to go from here. The Heat are currently in fourth in the East, I guess is a good transition. And we have not talked about them for quite some time. So how are you feeling? I think we had a 5-game win streak and then lost against the Kings. And now obviously we are playing the Warriors in a bit. So how are you feeling? Any takeaways, predictions? Let me hear it.
I felt great about the 5-game win streak, and then they lost that game to the Kings. And now I know that this team is just no good and they're not going to go anywhere at all.
Shambles. We shouldn't have lost that. How could we?
Honestly, look, I think the last time we talked about how concerned we should be after losses and stuff. And I genuinely am one that thinks that we shouldn't make excuses for losses. That loss to the Kings wasn't a good lot, wasn't a good game, right? The Heat played poorly.
Yep.
They lost. There are things that we can nitpick about the game, and there are things that we can say, hey, they need to work on this and they need to do this better and whatnot. But at the end of the day, look, not to make an excuse about that game, this is more about everything else that's happened. This team has been ravaged by a bunch of different factors. yes, most, if not the rest of the NBA has also been ravaged by those factors. To what degree? Everyone can disagree and argue and say, oh, well, they lost their second best player where you only lost your third, or we can all talk about whatever we want to talk about. But the fact of the matter is, this Heat team has faced some very early season adversity. And when last season this hit, the team didn't win these games. Mm-hmm. They didn't have these winning streaks. They didn't have these moments where it still looked in sync. It still looked like a good team. The depth came into the game, showed up, and played in a way that actually did fill the roles of those that weren't on the court. I expected the Miami Heat to be middling around 500, barely, if that, in the amount of time that they would be missing Jimmy and Bam, and Tyler, who was even out, right? And all these guys that are not going into COVID protocols. Through all of that, they have been a very good team. They have made it to they have stayed relevant in the East at 4th. They are giving all of those guys who are out the chance that when they come back, you can improve us. And even if we have an off night and we lose a game here or there, it's okay. It happens. We won enough games in that low point to make up for that. So honestly, with this Heat team, I feel nothing but proud right now. Yeah, there are some losses that I wish we could take back. And the way they've been playing, it's like, man, you beat some of those other teams. You definitely could have won against the Kings, right? You definitely could have played better against the Cavaliers early on in the season. Who cares? They're doing really well, a lot better than any of us would have expected. And yeah, everyone is going through stuff. But when you guys have like Yurt putting up the rebounds that they're putting up, Strus doing what he's doing, Kyle Guy coming in off a 10-day and being a relevant contributor to a winning basketball team in the NBA, Coach Spoelstra, through all the crap that you and I both have given him, is by far the leading candidate for Coach of the Year. Like, it's not even close, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I just can't believe that people are still choosing negativity right now. And to your point, that is not to say that, the loss wasn't bad. It was ugly. We played like trash. It wasn't a joy to watch. There is plenty to nitpick, but why? And I think that's my biggest problem with this narrative now going around. And I will give props to the majority of Heat Twitter. I actually feel like has been backing this team pretty consistently over the last few games. I feel like finally we're at a mostly balanced point where, to what you were saying before, no one, I think, expected us to win as many games as we've been winning. But there are a few out there that are still just choosing to be negative, and I just personally don't get it. It's definitely not how I live my life as a whole, but especially when it comes to something like this, losses are a part of the season, regardless of if a team is decimated or healthy, regardless of at what point in the season, or regardless of who you're playing against. And again, do I wish we would have won? Absolutely. Did I enjoy watching that? No. I think I even tweeted that going out the way we did really just was not the way that I wanted to end, the afternoon. It happened. Let's move on. I don't really get why we're still at a place where we're holding on to the negatives when there's so many good things to focus on. And we have a tough couple of games coming up. I know we always talk about the fact that we play up and we play down, and they might surprise us. I am not necessarily ready to count them out against the Warriors and, Blazers and the Suns. But there's a lot more to focus on moving forward. Guys are coming back. I don't know if by the time we're recording right now, if PJ Tucker's availability has been updated, but they said that he was moved to questionable and he was making his way over. I think Strus is still in protocols, but guys are coming back slowly but surely. And I want to look ahead. I want to be proud of what we've done. And I'm done with the negativity, and I am happy to announce that most people seem to be as well, but let's just leave it all behind.
PJ Tucker does plan to play tonight against the Golden State Warriors.
Even better. That's exactly what I'd want.
It's actually a really good piece to get back in a game where defense is going to be as crucial as this one. So that's
and Draymond Green is back as well. So yeah, to me, I'm proud of what this team has accomplished. I know Greg, I think, kind of started it off by saying that if we get to 500, that would be more than enough for him. We definitely surpassed that goal. So for me, I have nothing bad to say about this team. I'm excited to see what the rest of the year looks like. I'm not, I'm still realistic in the fact that there's work to be done. And once guys come back, there's going to be a chemistry issue for a little bit. And guys are going to have to find their role. And then once Depot's back, there's going to be bumps in the road. But overall, like, I think we should be pretty happy with how we look.
Yeah. I mean, the Miami Heat are 9-3 in their last 12 games. 9-3.
Who would have guessed that?
In a stretch that included Milwaukee and Chicago, right? And then a bunch of what, can be categorized as lower quality teams, but lower quality teams that they would have tripped up against probably a lot more often than they have.
And listen, lower quality teams also have to win some games. They're going to win some games during the season. So
it happens in every sport. This isn't college sports, right? Where you've got Michigan playing Appalachian State, and Appalachian State pulls off some crazy upset, and it's this crazy thing. I mean, that's really old, but it's professional basketball. Even the guys that come in from the G League, they're not necessarily NBA talents, but they're way better than anybody else could be. They were still probably the best player on their college basketball team at some D1 school somewhere. Look, the losses happen, the trip ups happen. What the Heat had to do and focus on is making it out of this stretch where they're missing someone like Bam Adebayo with their heads above water. And this is way more than their heads above water, right? This is heads, shoulders, chest, waist above water. I mean, they're sitting so pretty. This
is giving me
what?
We have to have talked about this. Off air, Michael just found out I was allergic to onions, which is like a pretty well-known thing, I feel like. And now you don't know that I can't swim.
You can't swim?
I can't swim. And my dad was a national water polo champ, and he is very disappointed in me.
Throw aside the water polo and the heritage and whatever it is. You can't swim?
So you know how little kids, they do swim lessons, right? And they okay, well, a lot of times little kids do swim lessons like in school or something, right? And they move them from levels, so you're like a tadpole, and then you're like a minnow, and then whatever, and the highest I think is a shark. I was at tadpole for about 8 weeks, and they literally refunded my parents because they were like, we feel bad, but she's never getting above this, and we're just literally like robbing you blind at this point. So it was me in the swim classes with my little floaties on, just chilling, unable to do anything and not progressing. So I can't swim at all. I can't even float.
Okay,
and it's bad for my hair.
First of all, okay, I believe the hair part because
it'll turn it green.
Listen, this is gonna sound very sexist. I get it, but there's something about women and their hair in water, right? Like let it be rain.
No. It's just chlorine like for pools. Me. No.
For you specifically, but I'm saying like in general, like usually if it rains, it's like, oh my God, my hair.
Yeah, because you just did your hair. My hair is wavy naturally, so I'm used to that. It's just I will have green hair if I enter chlorine.
It's
the
crazy.
Point is though, I can't swim.
I'm really sad for you. Like now I want to throw you into a pool to just watch what happens. Like I feel like I could push you into like 4 foot deep water. And you would be like, I can't swim. I can't swim. I can't swim. And it's like,
fuck out.
Allana, stand up.
No,
But it's
anything,
4 feet.
Anything over 3 feet makes me really uncomfortable.
But it's 4 feet. Aren't you above 5 feet?
I'm 5'2".
Can you do the math there?
It's too close. It's still too close. Okay. I understand.
Let's get back to the Heat, okay? Aqua lady? Gosh. Look, they've just been doing so well that, like I said, last season, the issue was they lost a lot of these games. And so when Jimmy was able to come back and all that stuff, it was like every single game felt like a must win, to the point where we missed out on the 5th seed, I believe it was, by 1 game, literally 1 game. And if we had gotten any of those other games, I think the Heat would have made it deeper into the playoffs. You and I can both agree on that because they would have played the Knicks, right? Eliminate Bing Bong round 1, right? Get over to Philadelphia, where that team, we've had their number forever, and they're just absolute hot garbage. So bust them out of the playoffs as well. They probably lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe they even lose in the second round, right? But it looks a lot better than the, 4-0 we suffered against the Bucks, right? We have a completely different narrative.
I also would like to leave that in 2021.
Yeah, it happened. We got skunked. I just think, look, I'm surprised it's happening. I'm not going to lie. And I think anybody that says that they're not surprised is probably lying. Not necessarily that they're winning games, but the rate at which they're winning games and the contributions that you're getting from people who You never would have expected to play significant minutes, much less contribute so significantly in those minutes.
The only thing I'll say is I feel like historically the one consistent about the Heat is that they're inconsistent. So from that perspective, like we should have maybe expected that all of a sudden with nobody, now we start winning games. But like I said, for me, I'm curious to see what happens moving forward, because as guys come back and are, forced to kind of reacclimate and then also, maybe adjust different roles, I think that's going to be where more so the obstacles lie. So,
you know what I just thought of too, and I'm kind of curious your take on. So we know this. If you're a Heat fan, you know this, right? Like the Heat play down to competition consistently, right? Usually just regular season. Like I don't think I've really seen them do it in the playoffs.
No, I agree.
Like maybe like one game, the other team kind of sneaks one by, but it's no big deal. I wonder how much of the success and consistent success lately is because of the guys that we're putting out there.
Yeah.
Because it's these guys that are so hungry for anything, right? Like the Kyle guys who are like, this is my only chance, right? Max Strus, who's here to be like, I deserve the minutes.
No, absolutely. I think that's a huge part of it.
So
yeah, I mean, to me, I think that it's a different mentality going into it. It's not to say that, guys like Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo don't care as much, but it's also more of a long game for them. Whereas to your point, these guys who are on 10 days, not only are they trying to prove something, but let's be real, they're it. Right. We don't have a team. So if they're not performing, everything is on them. At the end of the day, people can say that, for example, the Kings loss was on Jimmy's shoulders. I feel like that's kind of a cop-out. Did I love what Jimmy was doing? No, but at the same time, it's a much bigger loss than just one person, and like, especially not Jimmy Butler. But Jimmy's not going to walk away from that game being like, oh, this was on me. Whereas, I don't know, someone like Kyle Guy, if he's coming in on a 10-day with a team that is completely depleted, he's going to have a little bit more weight on his shoulders. So, no, I think that's a great point, and I definitely think that contributes.
Do you want to go over the bench for those two games, Houston and Sacramento? Do you want to know who was coming off the bench specifically? We can go through it. I'll give you the names. Here's who came off the bench for the Miami Heat against the Rockets and the Kings. This is the same group of four.
I missed the Rockets game.
Came off the bench in both games. It is Chris Silva, right? Former Heat player who just got brought back, right? What was it, like 4 days ago? Haywood Highsmith.
Don't know who that is.
Never heard of until the Heat signed him a few days ago. Kyle Guy, who I knew of because of, I think he was at Virginia when they won the national championship, right? And Nick Stauskas. They don't even know what Heat basketball is fully. I can guarantee you they didn't pass the body fat tests, right? The Heat were just like, can you dribble a ball, shoot, and you understand how to play defense?
Are you COVID-free currently?
Right. Those are the four guys they had coming off the bench. The fact that the Miami Heat were able to win one of those two games, I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care that they also had 10-day contracts and G Leaguers coming off the bench. That is difficult to do. It is very difficult to do, especially because that's a lot less rest for your starters. The chemistry isn't there at all. They found a way to win one of those games, and they lost the other one by 2 points because Buddy Hield came off the bench and did Buddy Hield things, which is absolute murder to the Miami Heat. Like, it happens. We're used to that, right? Like, whatever. We lose.
I don't know. I'm unfazed. I can't imagine why anyone would care.
I'm not even unfazed. I'm proud. The loss sucked. I wish they hadn't lost. But man, that is some great effort for the crap that they're putting out there. And I'm sorry, they're not crap, but they obviously weren't on our roster before for a reason, right? They could have been, they weren't. Look, applaud to the front office for finding these guys. And I had tweeted it out earlier. Look, some guys work, some guys don't. The Miami Heat know how to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. It is what it is. Right? They take a player.
Strange analogy, but yes.
You never heard that analogy?
Nope.
I guess it must be a pool thing.
Yeah, you're talking about chicken salad in the pool. I'm really missing out.
it's just they find a way to make these players who you wouldn't expect are going to amount to much and make them relevant. The players that may have been discarded from the league, make them rotation players, and then they're wanted by everybody else. We've seen this time and time again for years. And I think now more than ever, it's really jumping out how important that is and how great they're doing it. And this season has become, how well can you coach guys on short notice? How well can you prepare a team on short notice? How well can you motivate them? And I think the Heat are doing it just as well, if not better, than everyone else in the NBA.
You know what's interesting? For all the crap that I've given Spo, it's almost like he needed a bigger stage to perform better, which is why possibly he's much better in my eyes.
He might have also just listened to you. He probably popped in some Feel the Heat and was like, you know what? I'm going to prove Allana wrong. Here we go. Maybe Riley recommended it.
He is a Scorpio, and they don't really take criticism well. So
I have no idea what that means, other than it's a bug.
It's probably for the best. It's probably for the best. But moving on, do we even do culture player of the week? I know we've been gone for some time.
I can do culture player of the last 2 weeks, sure. And I think it's a very easy one for me. It's Yurt. It has to be Yurt, because I think Yurt earlier in the season looked rattled. He did. He looked like he wasn't ready for the moment. It looked like minutes should not be thrown his way at a high volume. It would be spotty here or there. The times that he was on the court, it was like, man, you don't seem strong enough. You don't seem really ready for this. He's come on strong. I mean, he's been our leading rebounder for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. The last 8 games, right? Because Dedmon got hurt. When was it? The Philadelphia game, or the next game right after Philadelphia?
Honestly, we've gone through so many injuries. Who knows anymore?
But Yurt's been playing great. He really has. He seems to be learning. He seems to be getting better into his role. A player like him is causing issues for the Heat moving forward, because it's like, well, now we have too many players we want to give minutes to. That's a great problem to have. But players like Yurt, Max Strus, people are going to want to give Kyle Guy a shot, right? Because he scored 17 points in his first outing, and they're just going to be romanced with him. I'm not sure he deserves it over a lot of the other guys that we have. But Caleb Martin's coming on strong for minutes. We know what Strus has been doing. There's a lot of guys showing up. I think Yurt's been the culture guy. He's been the guy that's really stepped up in a big way. But man, it could go to basically anyone.
I am not disagreeing with you. And if I was going down a traditional path, I definitely would have picked Yurt as well. But
did you just call me out for going down a traditional path with culture player of the week?
No, I was not calling you out. I was just saying the only reason that my answer differs from yours.
I feel like you've picked Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero 2 times each. Just
I wasn't. Do you see how defensive you're getting? And I wasn't even being critical.
Listen,
I was saying the only reason I'm also not picking Yurt is because I'm thinking a little bit outside of the box. It has to go to Rio.
No, I'm not thinking outside of the box. Okay, I love Taco Bell. I think outside the bun all the time.
I can't. I don't even know what to do with you anymore.
You've never known.
Mario Chalmers is back, and that has to be shouted out. And if he's not culture, I don't know who is. Has he played a single second? No. Maybe tonight will be the night. It doesn't matter. It is 2022, and Mario Chalmers is on the Miami Heat. Let's just pause and take a second. I'm sorry. I know that all of us were, shouting from the rooftops, bring Rio back. Maybe it's just me. I did not see this coming in any way, shape, or form.
I'm pretty sure we've been calling for Rio since before, though, specifically on our podcast. I remember.
Oh, absolutely. But did you actually think it was going to happen? Because I definitely did not.
I did the moment he got the G League contract. Because didn't he get a G League contract he did a month ago? So almost a month ago.
Yeah, but I don't think he played very well. I think he did well overseas, but I think he flopped in the G League, if memory serves.
Right, but that was very recent that he came back.
Yeah.
The moment he got signed back into the G League and I saw the way COVID was ravaging the NBA, I was like, it's only a matter of time.
I really, I would have put money on the fact that he was not coming back. So props to him. I want to see him play a little bit, but just being back, if that doesn't prove this is a simulation season, Mario Chalmers is on the Heat again. Goodbye.
You have seen The Matrix, right?
Yeah. I think you asked me this in the last episode.
It's because you said the simulation thing multiple
times.
Yeah,
because I said it. Yeah. Okay.
You took the blue pill, didn't you?
I don't take pills. Thank you.
Well, I take a red pill to break out of the matrix and be different and unique, but that's fine. You can be basic.
Yeah, that's me. Basic.
I mean, it's literally the definition of your name. Heat Twitter?
Heat Twitter. We kind of addressed the first point on here, but what I would like to talk about is Keefe. Because all jokes aside, I don't know how you feel about the fact that he's still out in kind of regards to, are the Heat just being cautious? Are they waiting to introduce him later on? Or is there potentially really serious damage caused? Because they're calling it whiplash. There were reports that came out that said there's a nerve damage problem somewhere. I don't know what to think anymore. I think it's really bizarre that no one has really stopped to realize how many games he's missed already. What are your thoughts on this?
I think with Markieff, what it is like, I mean, I feel like Ethan tweeted out something about somebody needs to ask whether he need to come out and say when Markieff is coming back, and Markieff himself tweeted and was like, soon. He's like, it's none of your damn business, soon, something like that, right? You know, telling Ethan, shut the hell up, you know, as most people do. That's just how it goes. But it was something along those lines. I think he'll come back when he's good and ready. I personally don't think it's some big issue that's happening. That's just my guess. That's not based on any insider information, because obviously I don't have any. And if I did, I would be outed immediately because I'm not that great at keeping secrets. I don't, my gut just tells me it's not something big. I think it's just them trying to make sure that when he does come back, he's ready. Because
people literally get whiplash in car accidents and are fine after like 2 weeks or a week. Like, this is crazy to me.
Yeah, but he got hit with a semi truck, right?
I understand that, but it's been
Jokic is fat as hell.
20 plus games.
Yeah, you get hit with the big fat white man, you know, it's gonna hurt you a little bit, right? It happens. It's pretty normal. I don't know if you've ever been. I don't know if you've ever been sumo wrestled by, you know,
there's a lot of things I could say here, and I'm gonna keep them to myself. But the point is,
Ayo,
don't worry about it.
I think everybody listening is worried about it.
They should be.
Okay.
The point is, I don't think that an injury like this should not have cost someone this many games, in my opinion.
I think it depends on a lot of different things. I really do. I think there's a lot of different moving parts to it. I think the Heat are playing a certain way. And if it was something more serious, right? If it was some big like nerve thing that it's like, listen, the way this is going, we got to really take care of it, or the season might be in doubt kind of thing, right? Or like maybe a couple months might be in doubt. If that's what was happening, I don't think he would have retweeted at Ethan specifically and been like, soon, right? Like that's a pretty out there thing to do when you that's like saying like that it can be a while.
Well, I that I don't agree with at all. Guys say a bunch of stuff that they don't mean and that aren't true all the time.
No, I agree that guys do that. I don't think Heat players would really do that.
I guess I don't
know. It's just a gut inclination.
High standards.
I'd like to see Markieff Morris come back sooner rather than later. I'd love to.
Honestly, if it's serious, I'd rather him sit out and not push it. I'm just kind of appalled at the fact that I feel like every game that goes by, I pause and I'm like, wait a second, this is game 25 plus at this. Like, this really went from a handful of games to we're now here. And I know the discussion.
One game.
Well, that too, but
yeah.
Is anyone surprised?
No, they love their marshmallow man.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like I covered the other thing on Heat Twitter too. Look at me getting ahead, which is good because the game is coming up. Anything you'd like to touch upon from Heat Twitter?
From Heat Twitter. Not necessarily. I mean, Heat Twitter has seemed pretty tame actually, and like
I'm very proud of this group.
That is easy to do when you're 5-1 over the last 6 games or 9-3 over the last 12.
And that's fine. I will bask in it for whatever reason.
Yeah. I mean, considering all the turmoil I'm dealing with on the Dolphins side of things and the fact that I'm absolutely dead inside, I will take the peace and happiness on Heat side. That is obviously until they lose maybe 1 or 2 games, and then the sky comes falling in again, and it's the end of the world, and the Heat are terrible. What are we gonna do? But until then, it's a pretty nice place to be. Yeah.
You should consider doing like voiceover acting.
I was actually in that movie Chicken Little, the Disney movie.
You are Chicken Little. Oh my God, I have a new nickname for you.
That feels kind of rough.
Honestly, I feel like that might replace Mr. Michael.
You think I'm the boy that cried wolf?
No, I think you're Chicken Little.
He's the boy who cried wolf, but
yeah,
chicken talking about the sky is falling.
Specifically Chicken Little.
I'll let you call me that the day you swim 10 meters.
Yeah, in your mind.
You're ridiculous.
Going around the league real quick. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take a moment
to talk about your favorite NBA team.
My boy, nope, just not the team, the player. DeMar Derozan, the Leo himself, has been.
He's got the same acronyms as that Guy Fieri show. Triple D, Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. Please continue. Sorry, I just.
This man has been incredible, and I'm so happy for him. Truly,
yeah.
Like he, and the way I know I've said this, the way he does it, he is just so incredibly composed on the court that even the buzzer beaters, the 2 in a row, the breaking history, just came so effortlessly to him. I love watching him play. And yeah, I am happy for the Bulls as a whole. I do enjoy watching the whole team, but DeMar in particular, I have no comment on the Jimmy Butler versus DeMar DeRozan. I have absolutely no idea why we can't just enjoy one player without comparing him to the next. I personally don't sit there being like, well, I wonder if DeMar was head to head with Jimmy, who would do this better? Or what if DeMar was on another team? Like, I just kind of, take the guy for what he is in the environment he's in. But listen, props to DeMar. I think he should absolutely be in the MVP conversation. I don't agree with the most improved player. I don't understand that at all. I don't think that this guy went from nothing to something.
Yeah, I'll shoot that one down in a second.
Yeah, that one makes no sense to me. But I'm not saying that he deserves MVP right now. I cannot make that claim, but I definitely think if there's like a top 5 conversation, he should absolutely be on there.
Top 5 is a little tough for me, but I guess the way the season is going, it makes sense for him to be there.
Right now, I'm talking currently. I don't mean at the end of the season.
No, I understand that. No, I mean, I can see it. I think that Bulls team is just more improved than a lot of people thought. I think they've also found a way to, avoid some of the issues that everyone else has been having, at least in terms of by sheer amount of like cases and injuries and players missing out on everything. Who's been out for them a significant amount of time?
Literally every single person. The only difference, which I will give you, yes, the only difference I'll give you is it wasn't all at the same time, and that's what I think the difference has been.
Okay,
Lonzo went out, DeMar went out, Vooch was out, Caruso, every single person has been out for them, but not at the same time.
But it's been staggered, and it hasn't been for the same amount of time, right? Like,
not everyone is long.
Right,
correct,
as in like Bam has been games.
Yeah, most of them were COVID related, not injury.
Right, maybe like 3-4 games max. Maybe. Right, the staggering does help. So that's what I'm saying. Sure. Like, it hasn't jumped to the front in terms of like they've been ravaged.
There's no comparison between that and the Heat, but I do think that the Heat aside, the Bulls probably have had more COVID cases than just about everyone in the league.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, considering what
they had 10 out at one point.
In total, like at one time.
At one time, I think they had 7 or 8, but I think it's been 10 players total.
Look, the Bulls are playing well. They're playing better than a lot of people thought they were going to be. I understand that some people saw them as really good. I don't think anybody saw them as number 1 in the East. No. Actually, I take that back. No one saw them as number 1 in the East. I don't even think the Bulls saw themselves as number 1 in the East. No. Yeah, you always believe in yourself, but come on, we're realistic. You got to give him credit for what he's doing. You got to give credit to everybody else around them for what they're doing as well. I will agree with you that he deserves to be in conversations for MVP. Probably in the bottom of that list for me.
Who would be on top?
I'm not. That's a tough one. Lakers aren't doing well, but I gotta give Bron some credit.
Oh no, for sure. I agree with that.
How wild he's been.
Oh yeah.
Recently, Steph absolutely has to be higher up than DeMar. I think there's plenty of other players. I mean, you have to look at the Suns because they've been playing really well as well, right? So, I mean, there's two players that you could possibly look at. I just think with DeMar, most improved.
No, absolutely not. That doesn't even make sense
at all.
No, I don't know why he'd be in that conversation.
Yes, it's stats. And I know you have to also look at the game. But if you look at the stats, DeMar is actually doing pretty much the same thing he did last season in San Antonio.
That's my thing. He didn't go from a scrub to an overnight success.
Slightly better 3-point shooting, right? He went from shooting 25% to 37%, but that was on 1 attempt per game versus 2. So kind of whatever. Less assists now with the Bulls, more rebounds, and the scoring is higher. But that's because he's taking literally 4 shots per game more and is shooting literally the exact same field goal percentage.
Yeah, no, I don't know where.
I don't think this should surprise anyone that DeMar is doing this. I think what's surprising people is how much volume he's getting as opposed to everyone else on the team, right? It felt like there would be not enough basketballs.
And I think that's for me why it's so exciting. But besides the fact that I think I just like him as a human being, but to me, going from being called the worst off-season sign to all of a sudden you're killing it, like I'm just happy for him because so many people were saying that he wouldn't be a good fit and that he was overpaid and whatnot, and I think he's really proving his worth. And again, I am happy for the team overall, but for me, my joy from watching them comes from DeMar specifically.
Yeah, so look, I'm happy for him. This is honestly great for him. A name I forgot, an MVP conversation that obviously is going to have to be brought up. I mean, you got to talk about Giannis.
Yeah.
You've got to do it. You've got to talk about Kevin Durant. You've got to do it. So that's what I'm saying. Look, he's playing great. I'm not sure he's anywhere near the top. He's definitely not in top 3 for me. After that, I don't know exactly, but I'm not quite sure yet. I will agree with a lot of Heat Twitter a little bit with the whole, like, it's a lot of recency bias with like automatically, like, it's not a foregone conclusion. Like, DeMar DeRozan is better than Jimmy Butler. Like, no.
I just don't get why we're comparing players. I don't understand
because it came from other places. This is, and I feel like it's a South Florida thing. Probably everybody does it. But the moment anybody outside of South Florida comes up with any comparison that involves one of our players, it's just like, pick up your swords, man. We're going to freaking war.
Yeah, it's really irritating to me. And it makes me feel like y'all don't, not you, but like just the people that do that, like, I don't think you enjoy basketball.
Yeah, look,
to be honest.
DeMar's having a great season. I don't think he's a better player than Jimmy Butler, but I
have never made that claim.
No, I understand that. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying, like, they don't need to be compared. I was going to say they don't need to be compared. They can both have great seasons. They can both have bad games. They can both have their ups and downs. Right now, DeMar DeRozan is playing more consistently than Jimmy Butler. Not only because he's literally playing more consistently, he's more consistently available, but he's also just playing more consistent in his game. I think Jimmy Butler does more for the team because, I mean, his defense is that much better. I think the leadership is a big part of it. But look, they're both playing great. Give them the flowers. If somebody wants to
I'm
yell
happy
at us,
for them both.
Sure. But if somebody comes at me and asks me directly, which player do you think is better? My answer isn't going to be, why do we have to compare them personally?
Oh, that's absolutely my answer, because if you're going to come to me with a dumb question, I'm going to call you out on how dumb you're being.
Comparing NBA players is dumb. It's just
I think it's the dumbest thing you can do. And again, I don't think you enjoy basketball if that's what you're spending your time on.
That's what we just did with the MVP race.
That's not comparing players. That's asking who you think should win an award.
Right. Basically, which player do you think is better for the award?
That's not comparing two players.
Okay. I think it is.
I disagree.
Like, if we're like, I think, like, okay, who do you think deserves the MVP award more, Stephen Curry or DeMar DeRozan? If I asked you that, would you just be like,
that's
they
looking
can both deserve it? Like,
well, no, because I'm not comparing them as players. I'm seeing the like criteria for like this specific award. I think this player fits better because X, Y, and Z. Like, to me, that's not the same thing at all.
Look, let's just call it what it is. You got really, really upset about what Giancarlo Navas said. Everybody always gets upset about what Giancarlo Navas says. I mean, that guy puts his foot in his mouth. I love him. He loves anime, so I'm all in.
Excuse me, I love him too, and I was not directing my tweet at him, although he does fall into the group of people I was directing my tweet at. Whenever he's on
hangover time, all I can think is let Yanni speak, right? And then he says something that I'm like, I'm just kidding, take it back. No, I'm just kidding. I love Giancarlo. So good for him. And you guys can have this argument. I think playing players is fine. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's an indictment just to say one player is better than the other. But obviously, when you say one player is better than the other, some people just take that as, well, you think that worst player is trash. No, I just think one player is better than the other. Like, for example, LeBron James is a better NBA player than Michael Jordan.
And on that note, the Warriors game is about to tip off, so we will be back next week. But in the meantime, you can go hassle Michael for that absolutely horrible take. Good night, y'all.